Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Hub. In a move that's sending shockwaves through both national finance circles and the international currency community, Iraq has taken a bold and transformative step. A formal declaration published in the latest Iraqi Gazette confirms that the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has successfully completed a top-to-bottom audit of all Iraqi dinar, EQD, notes in circulation. This in-depth, countrywide examination was not only designed to authenticate existing currency, but also to purge counterfeit notes from the financial system entirely. It marks a turning point, a proactive overhaul meant to strengthen Iraq's monetary framework and restore investor confidence at home and abroad. For those invested in the revaluation narrative, this signals a seismic shift. What's unfolding now is more than just a crackdown on fraud, it's an institutional reset with global implications. The complete verification of Iraq's money supply suggests the country is on the cusp of a long-awaited currency revaluation. For years, currency watchers and speculative investors have waited for a signal this strong. Now, many see this audit as a green light, hinting at a potential return to international currency parity for the EQD. Additionally, currencies such as the Vietnamese dong, VND, and the Zimbabwean dollar, ZWL, are experiencing renewed attention, as market participants begin evaluating whether similar reform patterns could soon follow. This comprehensive verification didn't occur in isolation. It was implemented with deliberate timing, aligning with broader reforms in Iraq's fiscal and economic landscape. According to experts, the central bank, alongside the Ministry of Finance, executed this initiative amid growing international trust in Iraq's recovery. The process was technologically sophisticated, utilizing cutting-edge tools including biometric tagging, UV ink testing, advanced holograms, and magnetic ink identification. The aim was to not just remove counterfeit bills, but to elevate Iraq's currency verification process to meet global banking standards. By completing this audit before any public announcement of a currency revaluation, Iraq has shown it understands the intricacies of international financial expectations. Institutions such as the IMF and BIS are more likely to treat Iraq's fiscal policy as stable and in compliance with global norms. This also raises speculation around other undervalued currencies. With the dinar gaining credibility, attention is now turning to whether Vietnam and Zimbabwe might launch similar anti-counterfeit campaigns to strengthen their currencies and improve institutional trust. The publication of this audit in the Iraqi Gazette has triggered rapid movements in the financial world. Global Forex markets, private wealth funds, and institutional traders are all reacting. Large hedge funds with long-standing interests in Middle Eastern and frontier market currencies began shifting positions. Forex platforms in the U.S. saw a spike in interest around EQD, both in trading volume and search activity. Analysts across Europe and Asia have labeled this a milestone for Iraq's monetary credibility, suggesting this effort is a message to the world that Iraq is no longer an unstable currency outlier. Within hours of the announcement, major U.S. banks including J.P. Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America began quietly updating internal compliance materials relating to EQD exposure. While no public exchange mechanisms have been activated yet, internal policy shifts hint at changing attitudes toward not only the dinar but potentially the dong and ZWL as well. These behind-the-scenes developments suggest institutional players are preparing for the possibility of asset-backed revaluations, and Iraq's move might be the opening salvo. Unlike the years of vague rumors and unreliable blog posts, this event represents an official and legally binding government confirmation. The Iraqi Gazette entry gives the CBI clear jurisdiction over Iraq's physical currency stockpile and confirms the legitimacy of verified notes. This drastically reduces risk for investors and enhances the likelihood of a meaningful rate adjustment. For long-time dinar holders, this moment validates years of patience, signaling that real change backed by institutional resolve is finally underway. The behind-the-scenes efforts powering this audit included a range of high-tech innovations and strategic partnerships. Iraq didn't rely on visual checks or outdated inspection protocols. Instead, They implemented tools often reserved for advanced Western financial institutions. Each IQD note underwent ultraviolet analysis, magnetic ink tracing, watermark and hologram verification, and serial number matching to a national currency ledger. Border agents also received real-time counterfeit detection devices, and a blockchain-style tracking system was introduced to provide a secure digital trail for every verified note. In tandem with physical testing, Iraq employed eye-driven scanning systems capable of detecting microscopic forgeries. These systems helped eliminate error and ensure only genuine notes remain in use. This places Iraq's verification technology in line with central banks in the US and EU. With its currency now backed by digital authentication, Iraq stands well positioned for a future that includes greater financial transparency and possible digital integration with platforms like SWIFT and cross-border settlement systems. The implications are resonating beyond Iraq. Investors holding Vietnamese dong or Zimbabwean dollars are now wondering whether their governments will take similar steps. Early reports from Vietnam suggest the state bank is exploring comparable measures, potentially collaborating with fintech regulators in Singapore and Japan. Meanwhile, in Zimbabwe, there are whispers of a review being coordinated with international financial bodies like the IMF. These moves would mirror Iraq's path and push both nations toward currency stabilization and global legitimacy. For years, these three currencies, IQD, VND, and Zulu, have been grouped together as undervalued yet higher risk. What Iraq has now demonstrated is that structural reform can shift the narrative. Should Vietnam or Zimbabwe follow suit with formal government-backed audits or Gazette publications, it would catalyze institutional interest and reframe how these currencies are perceived in global markets. Iraq has effectively raised the bar and the others may soon follow. What's being missed in mainstream coverage is that the audit is just one element of Iraq's larger strategy to realign its financial systems with international standards. The Central Bank of Iraq has introduced rigorous anti-money laundering policies, revised compliance mandates, and upgraded its digital payment infrastructure to work seamlessly with SWIFT. These upgrades are being executed in parallel with partnerships with European financial watchdogs and are aligned with FATF and Basel III recommendations. Domestically, Iraq is also modernizing its banking environment. New rules are being introduced to limit large cash transactions, overhaul customs enforcement, and license currency dealers under stricter guidelines. These systemic upgrades signal that any revaluation won't be sudden or erratic, but rather the result of a deliberate and sequenced institutional modernization campaign. In this framework, the currency verification program emerges as a foundational reform, not a one-off event. With the audit behind them, analysts are beginning to recalculate the revaluation timeline. What was once dismissed as pure speculation now appears within reach. Forecasts from independent analysts suggest a formal rate adjustment could be announced as soon as the next financial quarter. Supporting this are subtle hints from Iraqi legislators referencing rate changes in budgeting meetings, as well as reports of confidential meetings with IMF officials discussing valuation metrics and phased implementation strategies. One such strategy could involve a dual-phase rollout, beginning with the domestic revaluation before expanding to international markets, a tactic previously used by countries like Kuwait and South Korea. This would allow Iraq to stabilize market responses before wider adoption. Meanwhile, investors in Vietnam and Zimbabwe are closely monitoring these signals. If Iraq goes public with a formal revaluation, it could create a domino effect, putting pressure on other undervalued currency nations to act. For those holding these currencies, the time to act is now, and not reactively, but proactively. The first step is verification, ensuring your notes are authentic through certified services or reputable institutions. Proper documentation, secure storage, and awareness of legal exchange pathways are essential. Investors should also seek guidance from professionals who understand the nuances of revaluation processes and the historical precedents of IQD, VND, and ZWL transitions. As discussions grow around contract rates, redemption tiers, and narrow exchange windows, the stakes get higher. Staying informed through credible sources and not rumors is key. And with governments cracking down on unlicensed currency trading, Working through proper channels is more important than ever. Vietnam and Zimbabwe are expected to adopt similar rules, so staying ahead of policy changes is critical for all stakeholders. The Iraqi Gazette's publication marks more than a bureaucratic milestone. It could be the pivot point in a broader currency realignment across emerging markets. Iraq's deployment of cutting-edge technologies, formal governance reforms, and verified monetary systems show that the nation is moving beyond speculation into structured implementation. For Dinar holders, this is a signal not of hope, but of readiness, of institutional alignment with future value increases. Iraq has done more than stabilize its currency, it's sending a global message. It's no longer an outsider in the financial world but is now building its credentials as a leader among re-emerging currencies. And as Vietnam and Zimbabwe edge closer to similar reforms, the world watches. This is no longer just a theory circulating on forums. With official documentation and global acknowledgement, revaluation is becoming a reality. Those who prepare, stay informed, and position themselves now will be best placed to benefit from what may become one of the defining financial shifts of the decade. Thanks for tuning into Iraqi Dinar Hub. As we continue to witness these historic developments unfold, it's clear that we're no longer dealing in speculation and we are watching a financial transformation take shape in real time. Whether you're holding Iraqi dinar, Vietnamese dong, or Zimbabwean dollars, this is your moment to get informed, stay vigilant, and prepare strategically. The groundwork has been laid, and the signals from Iraq are louder and clearer than ever before. If you found this update valuable, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive analysis. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments so we're all navigating this journey together. Until next time, stay sharp, stay prepared, and stay connected to the truth behind the revaluation movement.